System Philosophy, Part 4, Research Overview 2014. It's a diagram. I did like to go over System Philosophy Research Overview for 2014 today. One person once asked me why I don't provide research overview for the years in the past. Well, the answer is simple, because current research overview for 2014 is a year that I started doing graphical diagrams for the research of system philosophy. And years before, the research was not complete as a whole. So it's just this year it really starts to take shape, where it becomes much clearer. And it happens, basically it happens that 2014 is a year that all that basically essential system philosophies are in existence, solid existence. And it will be future-proof until the end. Basically what it means is that current system, the diagram you're seeing right here is the system philosophy overview until the end of time. It's not gonna have like third system philosophy that is gonna make a huge difference, which I'm gonna go over it. 1 second to it. Okay. Before going into the diagram, I have to say the diagram is not absolute. There are details in which, for example, declaration of infinite is needed when you are learning some aspect of universal system, but the details are not shown in the diagram. Basically, what it means is that there are details where system philosophy will exchange some of the concepts together. Because universal system will have characteristics that I can talk about in value system, transversa. There are some details that they're connected, but the connection, it's just a very detailed information. I shouldn't talk about it. Okay, so now let's go over to the diagram. Make sure you're looking at the diagram when I'm going over it, either on the video or on my website. Or because on my website, the image is much bigger. You can scale it. In case if you have if you have eye issue or something. So basically, okay, if you're looking at the diagram, basically we started at flawless philosophy. Okay, back in 2011, I started on the concept of flawless philosophy. That's before the development of systems. That was before the implementation of systems. So basically, I was just using that term to searching for now called system philosophy. At that time, I didn't know the importance of system. But however, later on, I think it was 2013, like 2 years ago, before I changed. It was really confusing, Okay, so basically I started with flawless philosophy. But then later, as that year, I realized that there are too much doubts and exception issue with current philosophy. So I spent a lot of time working on Declaration of Infinite, in which that concept pushed to the development of system philosophy. So if you look at the diagram, you'll see there's a lot of development. Like the flawless philosophy now, it just lost its existence because the word was abstract and it doesn't reflect what it actually is. And I found system philosophy to be the real term for it, because everything is involved with system. The concept of system basically evolved into much bigger scale. Then later on, one of the history for the philosophy overview is that um, look at the diagram. It says core design of value system. It was at 2010. That was because I was working on philosophy of human action before working on flawless philosophy. But I think they kind of was developed in parallel from each other, because when I was first developing values, there's how do I say? When I first started flawless philosophy, I was working on the second meaning of life, which is this current value system. Then value system, while developing value system, I found that there are so many problems with existing philosophy that I was changing. I was making a total rewrite on existing philosophy. That is the concept that pushed me into developing flawless philosophy that becomes system philosophy. So there's a lot of transition. And so basically you just, on the diagram you can also see that value system and universal system is a sub-branch of system philosophy, main branch. It means system philosophy itself is nothing. It's just a conceptual branch of what system philosophy should behave and what it should be and what is its applications. Value system and universal system is more down to like the real system philosophy should be like, and in reality. When you look over to the data logic is one of the newest founding that I'm currently working on. Data logic is a crazy idea where, well, it's currently still classified, but I can tell you some information regarding to it. Data logic is where with set of information and laws of execution, that information or / data will involve, and that that ability to involve is crazy. Basically, I'm talking about you can literally create an reality out of data and the law. For existing universe, for example, the laws of physics. If you put two objects together, they'll have some, as long as they have mass, they'll have some sort of attraction. The objects itself is data. However, the law itself would be the law. But however, if you have a whole system of both, you can create pretty insane things out of it if the scales are huge. So much so that conceptually you can create a universe out of it. But those are too deep and too much application layers that currently I cannot talk about. And data logic is part of the concept that supports universal system, which is declarational, which I will talk about in later series. So yeah, just look at the current diagram, and I think it's pretty obvious. It's graphical understanding. And current continuous research is still value system and universal system. I'm working on application layers of value system, while working more on building the conceptual layer of universal system, because universal system is a much bigger system, obviously, and there are a lot of issues with it. But those issues are not gonna interfere with the And those yeah, I don't want to talk about that anyways. Those are not issues that you will be bothered. It's bothering me, but it's not gonna bother by you. So that's something I don't want to talk about. Training research is data behavior concept. Data behavior concept is where it's basically same as it's part of data logic, where I'm talking about data that is so complex that okay, yeah, I had to cut some of the because I was kind of confused by that as well. Because it's part of data logic. Basically, what data behavior concept is more focused on part of data logic, where you talk about the behavior of data under the influence of laws / declarations. So yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna talk about data behavior concept. It's still something that I'm kind of confused with, and I'm still trying to sort out the information it needs to make it something useful. So that is just trending behavior, trending research right now. So yeah, that concludes part 4. So, but you have to look over the diagram because the understanding of the diagram is essential. That if you're lost, look at this should bring you to some level of clarity. Actually, I'm gonna make a greater cut right now because I realized that on the book, the verbal version of the history and the version I'm talking about it on here is kind of different. If you want greater extent of details and information regarding the history and transitions, you have to read the book and read all the topic on my website instead of getting your source of information here, because this entire project is pretty abstract. I'm basically recalling everything from my mind, so there are a lot of information impossible to recall. It's so huge of a system that I have difficulty recall some of the information as well. So that is something to keep in mind, because if you want greater extent of the history, the development aspect, read the book, because I write book while I'm working on it, like right then. So you can see like every detail of improvement just from there.